Welcome to the Nation of History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. The opening of the Golden Gate Bridge was marked by cutting a silver chain, symbolizing its official public debut. In 1937, this solemn gesture celebrated the completion of one of the era's most impressive engineering feats, linking San Francisco to Marin County. After a long day's work, a man relaxed by enjoying a beer, a tradition valued in local culture. In 1971, in Belgium, consuming craft and regional beers was part of daily life, appreciated as a moment of pause and socialization. A soldier rested exhausted on the battlefield, reflecting the physical and emotional toll of intense combat. In 1944, during World War II, images like this became powerful symbols of the reality experienced by troops on various fronts. A rare side photograph of Tutankhamun's head was taken by Harry Burton during excavations of the pharaoh's tomb in the Valley of the Kings. In 1925, the images meticulously documented the artifacts and human remains found in the nearly intact tomb. St. Paul's Cathedral stood firm during the Blitz, the German bombing campaign over London in World War II. A bomb struck the structure and exploded in the crypt, causing damage but failing to destroy the iconic building. Igor Gusenko, a Soviet officer specializing in cryptography, appeared in disguise during an interview conducted by Saul Pett. After defecting in 1945, Gusenko disclosed classified information about Soviet espionage, triggering a series of investigations and tensions at the start of the Cold War. A massive flood struck areas along the River Thames, resulting in loss of life and significant damage. In 1928, the disaster caused 14 deaths and left thousands homeless. Ships known as Liberty ships were produced in record time to meet logistical needs during the global conflict. The SS Robert E. Peary was launched after just 4 days and 15 hours from keel laying, a landmark of efficiency in shipbuilding. Workers manually pulled boats through shallow stretches of the Yangtze River, overcoming challenges posed by the local geography. The photograph was taken by Dmitry Kessel, documenting everyday scenes in China. The original Ferris wheel was introduced as one of the main attractions of the World's Columbian Exposition held in Chicago. Built in 1893, the structure was designed by George Washington Gale Ferris Jr. to rival the Eiffel Tower showcased at the 1889 Paris Exposition. New York City was severely impacted by the Great Blizzard of 1888, which piled impressive drifts of snow on the streets. The event halted transportation, caused property damage, and led to hundreds of deaths across the northeastern United States. Soldiers trained in mine and trap disarmament techniques using blindfolds, developing skills to operate without direct visual contact. In 1943, the 5th Army's 10th Corps course aimed to prepare troops for dangerous missions during World War II. An X-ray image known as Photo 51 revealed the helical structure of the DNA molecule, a milestone in molecular biology. In 1952, Raymond Gosling captured this image in Rosalind Franklin's lab using X-ray diffraction techniques. Jesse Owens arrived in London after his historic achievement of winning 4 gold medals at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. His extraordinary performance challenged racial prejudices and cemented his legacy as one of the greatest athletes of all time. The 1923 FA Cup final at Wembley Stadium was notable for drawing more spectators than planned capacity, resulting in massive crowd chaos. It is estimated that around 200,000 people attended, drawn by the opening of the new stadium. People lined up to receive food, a common scene during the Great Depression in the United States. In 1932, New York, like many other cities, organized food distributions to help those affected by unemployment and widespread poverty. A llama watched the urban bustle curiously as it rode in a car through busy New York streets. In 1957, unusual scenes like this caught pedestrians' attention and were often captured by photographers. A carved relief on the Stora Hammer's eye stone offers one of the oldest representations of practices associated with Nordic peoples. Dating from the 7th century, the image suggests the performance of a ritual known as blood eagle, linked to punishments or sacrifices. Rescue teams pulled a woman from the rubble after a V-2 rocket attack, carried out during the bombing campaign at the end of World War II. In 1944, London faced a new threat from these long-range weapons, which caused sudden destruction. The Ipatiev House, photographed in 1928, stood as a silent landmark of the Romanov dynasty's tragic end. 10 years earlier, in 1918, Tsar Nicholas II, his family and their staff were executed there in Yekaterinburg during the Russian Revolution. A member of the Bald Knobbers posed in the group's characteristic attire, known for acting as a militia and vigilante force in the Ozark Mountains of Missouri. Founded in 1885, the group sought to impose its vision of order amid the instability of post-Civil War America. Suffrage activist Mary Richardson staged a radical protest by damaging an invaluable painting with a meat cleaver. In 1914, the act took place in the National Gallery in London to draw attention to the fight for women's voting rights in the United Kingdom. Competitors participated in an auto polo match at Coney Island, using motorized vehicles adapted for the game. In 1913, this unusual sport combined the thrill of racing with the skill of traditional polo, offering radical entertainment to the public. A samurai wielded a longbow, traditionally known as a yumi, a hallmark weapon of feudal Japan. Hailing from the Satsuma domain, this warrior represented one of the most respected military classes in Japanese society. A train failed to stop in time, crossing the buffers and crashing through a wall at Harcourt Street Station in Dublin, Ireland. The accident occurred in 1900, drawing attention for the dramatic scene of the locomotive partially suspended over the street. A stagecoach from the Kuykendall transportation cars traveled the roads of Cripple Creek, Colorado, carrying passengers and goods. In 1894, this mode of transport was essential in mining towns, facilitating travel in remote areas and boosting local development. Shigeki Tanaka, a Hiroshima survivor, won the Boston Marathon in 1951 at age 20. His participation and triumph symbolized resilience and endurance, just 6 years after the bombing that devastated his hometown. Administrative records from approximately 3,200 years ago documented absences from work, detailing everyday and personal justifications. Among the cited reasons were embalming a brother, brewing beer, and an injury caused by a scorpion sting. Sir Malcolm Campbell set a new world-land speed record piloting his Bluebird vehicle. In 1935, he achieved an impressive 301 miles per hour on the Bonneville Salt Flats in the United States. An ancient wooden carriage was discovered in Lakashin, Armenia, revealing a remarkable example of prehistoric transport technology. The structure is estimated to be thousands of years old, preserving details that offer insights into the engineering and daily life of regional civilizations. A 1st century BC Roman ship was discovered at Comacchio in northern Italy, preserving significant parts of its structure and cargo. The vessel provided valuable insights into trade routes, shipbuilding techniques, and daily maritime life in ancient Rome. A Beetle automobile was driving among the rubble left by the conflict, illustrating the destruction and reconstruction in Berlin. In 1945, the city faced the aftermath of the intense fighting at the end of World War II, with vast urban areas reduced to ruins. Coffin-shaped beds provided by the Salvation Army offered temporary shelter for homeless individuals. In the late 19th century, the service included a canvas blanket and cost 4 pence per night, providing an affordable option amid urban hardships. Jenny McGregor was arrested for smuggling alcoholic beverages, hiding bottles inside life jackets. In 1924, during Prohibition in the United States, creative methods like this were used to circumvent legal restrictions on alcohol production and sales. Workers cleaned the horse sculptures of the Quadriga atop Wellington Arch at Hyde Park Corner in London. In 1939, regular maintenance of these works was essential to preserve their details and structural integrity against the elements. A stunt performer executed a risky maneuver by jumping from a high structure directly onto a moving car. In 1921, such stunts were common in film productions and public spectacles, showcasing impressive courage and physical skill. Ralph Fons was thrown from his car during a race at Hammond Raceway, surviving the crash. In 1939, auto races were marked by high risks and limited safety measures, with drivers often exposed to extreme situations. Researchers and technicians carried out activities at the Los Alamos National Laboratory, one of the United States' leading scientific and technological research centers. In 1974, the site continued to play a key role in developing nuclear technologies and other innovations. Passengers enjoyed a full meal, including a turkey dinner, during a flight aboard a Pan Am Stratocruiser. In 1949, the experience of air travel included sophisticated services with elaborate meals and ample space for comfort. Lillian Todd stood out as the first woman to design and build her own aircraft, marking a pioneering achievement in aviation history. In the early 20th century, her dedication to engineering challenged gender barriers and inspired future generations of women inventors. United States and Mexican soldiers conducted joint patrols in the border region, reinforcing security during a period of tension and instability. In 1915, coordinated actions aimed to curb conflicts and illegal activities along the Arizona Territory. Marines rested exhausted after intense fighting to capture Eniwetok Atoll in the Marshall Islands. In 1944, this operation was part of the Pacific Campaign during World War II, aimed at establishing strategic bases for the Allied advance. Television logos were produced as physical objects, carefully carved or assembled to be displayed in program openings. Before the rise of digital effects, these scenic elements provided visual identity to broadcasters and broadcasts. Specialized workers known as steeplejacks took a break while performing high-altitude services on the Shell Mex building in 1930s London. Improvised child seats were common in 1950s automobiles, prioritizing convenience and the child's visibility, but offering little safety. Such models allowed a baby to ride in the front of the vehicle. Women used wooden exercise boards for physical workouts, popular equipment in 1920s gyms. These manual devices were designed to promote health and well-being before the introduction of modern motorized models. Driver Raymond Mays faced a critical situation when he lost a wheel on his Bugatti during the climb of Caerphilly Hill in Wales. In 1924, races like this tested the limits of cars and drivers' skill on steep, challenging routes. Douglas Fairbanks lifted Charlie Chaplin in a public celebration in New York, highlighting the friendship and shared prestige between the two silent film stars. In 1918, both were already international icons with careers marked by innovation and artistic success. Passengers occupied wooden benches in a New York train car, while electric lights illuminated the interior. In 1914, the urban rail system was already essential for public transportation, facilitating the daily commute of thousands of residents. Men sported impressive mustaches while working as cigar makers in Cuba. In 1910, the country was one of the world's leading centers for cigar production, with skilled artisans handcrafting each piece with expertise and tradition. New York City Police Department officers took part in a formation inspection alongside their Indian motorcycles. In the early 20th century, models like these were adopted for patrol duty, offering greater mobility and efficiency in urban policing. A smuggling ring operated in southern Illinois, known as the Burger Gang, involved in the illegal transport and distribution of alcoholic beverages. In 1924, during Prohibition in the United States, organizations like this proliferated, supplying the black market. Workers removed streetcar tracks from Seattle streets as part of urban modernization and adaptation. In 1943, many North American cities began replacing rail transport systems with buses, seen as more flexible and cost-effective. A Roman shoe crafted with sophisticated design was found preserved in a well, revealing details of ancient fashion and craftsmanship. The footwear is estimated to be over 1,000 years old, noted for its meticulous leatherwork and decorative embellishments. Michelangelo created illustrated shopping lists to communicate clearly with his illiterate servant. In 1518, this visual method demonstrated practical adaptation to daily needs and the literacy limitations of the time. Tomika Temutu, a prominent Maori chief, posed with traditional ornaments and garments reflecting his people's status and cultural identity. In the 1870s, leaders like him played fundamental roles in social organization and the preservation of traditions in New Zealand. Kumamoto Castle was photographed shortly after the Satsuma Rebellion, a conflict in Japan between 1877 and 1878. The castle, one of the country's most important, played a strategic role during the siege, withstanding weeks of attack by rebel forces led by Saigo Takamori. Rescue teams worked to evacuate residents from an emergency situation building using ropes and safety nets. In 1942, operations like this demonstrated the swift response of firefighters and police in urban settings. Trans-World Airlines requirements for flight attendants reflected the social and professional standards of the era. In 1945, criteria included height, weight, maximum age and appearance, as well as skills like customer service and first aid. A sailor proudly displayed a kitten, newly adopted, as a shipboard mascot. In 1910, cats were common on vessels, helping control rodents and providing companionship to the crew. A young Babe Ruth, at 7 years old, appears alongside Piers, standing out on the right in the image. Born in Baltimore, United States, he would later become one of baseball's greatest legends, known for his remarkable batting skill and contributions to the sport. The Waldorf Astoria Hotel featured a private entrance for enclosed carriages, ensuring privacy and comfort for guests. In 1894, the hotel on Fifth Avenue in New York was renowned for its luxury and hospitality innovations. Divers search for pearls in the Mississippi River using improvised equipment, such as gas tanks repurposed as diving helmets. This creative method enabled exploration of deeper waters with limited resources. A man climbed carefully while a car remained dangerously tilted after a bolt failure in a hydraulic lift. In 1970, in Denver, incidents like this highlighted the risks associated with handling mechanical equipment in parking garages and repair shops. Advertisements for medicinal products such as Mull's grape tonic were common in the early 20th century, promoting cures for various ailments. In 1906, this ad recounted a case of chronic constipation resolved after using the tonic, including a personal testimonial to bolster credibility. The Ford Model T could be outfitted with an optional kit for traversing flooded areas, easing travel over difficult terrain. In 1915, in the Green Swamp region of Florida, this accessory was especially useful due to wet and flooded conditions. A young woman was crowned Miss Idaho Potato, representing the state's agricultural pride and tradition. In 1935, contests like this promoted regional products, highlighting the potato's importance to Idaho's economy and cultural identity. Men posed in front of a wooden cabin with a sign reading, "Wives Wanted," directly expressing their search for spouses. In 1913, in isolated or frontier regions, it was common for workers to advertise their need for companionship and domestic support. The Great Bell of Bow, located in St. Mary le Bow Church in London, is first mentioned in historical records in 1392. According to tradition, a person is only considered a true Cockney if born within earshot of the bow bells. Children played basketball on an improvised court at the corner of 91st Street and 5th Avenue in New York. In 1911, the sport, invented just 2 decades earlier, was quickly gaining popularity among urban youth. A delivery worker balanced multiple trays of soba bowls, the traditional Japanese noodles, while walking through Tokyo streets. In the 1930s, this service was common, bringing ready-to-eat meals to customers' homes or offices. A preserved Roman mosaic depicts typical entertainment scenes of the time, including music, gladiator combats, and beast hunts. Dating from the 2nd century AD, this piece was discovered in Sledding, in present-day Libya. The Colosseum in Rome, one of the most iconic structures of the ancient world, stands as a symbol of Roman engineering and entertainment. Built in the 1st century AD, the amphitheater hosted spectacles such as gladiator fights and public performances. The disciplinary report of the USS Adams documented the enforcement of regulatory punishments, including flogging. In 1947, the maximum allowed was 12 lashes, according to the standards of the time to maintain order aboard military vessels. Electric taxis circulated the streets of New York, offering a modern and quiet alternative to fossil fuel vehicles. By 1902, the city already had an initial fleet of these cars, demonstrating interest in cleaner transportation solutions. A London resident improvised shelter and rest on a stone sarcophagus using it as a temporary bed during air raids. In 1940, during the Blitz, the population sought safe havens in churches, subways, and other protected locations. A coach closely monitored his protege during a training session in the velodrome, a venue designed for track cycling races. The environment was characterized by steeply banked turns that required skill and speed from the athletes. Visitors slid down one of Luna Park's most popular attractions, known as Shooting the Chutes. In 1910, the park on Coney Island, New York, offered a variety of leisure and entertainment options, drawing crowds of all ages. A terracotta warrior was found completely intact, preserving impressive details of its attire and weaponry. The sculpture highlights the precision in execution, especially in the depiction of footwear grip, revealing technical and artistic aspects of the period. Handcuffed prisoners pulled a transport cart as part of forced labor routines at Dartmoor Prison, England. In the 19th century, the prison was known for its harsh conditions and the use of heavy labor as a disciplinary and rehabilitative measure. John Jeremiah Liver-Eating Johnson became known for his reputation for vengeance after his family was killed in an attack. According to accounts, he hunted tribe members, committing extreme acts as retaliation, though many aspects of his story remain a mix of fact and legend. Technicians performed maintenance on telephone lines, ensuring expanding communication in urban and rural areas. In 1929, installing and repairing cables required specific skills and work at heights, often under challenging conditions. A baby received their first haircut, a traditional moment enthusiastically recorded by the family. In 1955, such occasions were often photographed, marking an important rite of passage in childhood. Alfred Hitchcock enjoyed a sleigh ride with his grandchildren, experiencing a relaxed moment amid the snowy landscape. In 1960, the British director was already world-renowned for his suspense films and cherished family leisure time. A young helper took part in mechanical tasks in a workshop, demonstrating skills from an early age. In 1940s London, it was common for children to assist in family businesses or learn technical trades as part of their training. Children played on simple metal climbing structures common in parks and schoolyards. In 1930s New York, these installations were popular, offering outdoor fun and physical exercise. Dental students from the University of Pennsylvania closely observed surgery at the Philadelphia General Hospital. In 1910, direct observation of clinical procedures was an essential part of medical and dental training, enabling practical learning. A pack donkey equipped with military gear, a common practice for transport in difficult terrain. In 1930s Turkey, animals like this were used to carry supplies, artillery pieces, and occasionally light weapons due to their endurance and mobility. Delivery wagons from the Marshall Field's department store were lined up, ready to distribute goods to customers in Chicago. In 1897, this service represented an advancement in customer service, bringing products directly to homes before large-scale motorization. If you enjoyed this video and want to support the channel, please use the Super Thanks tool below. Your contribution helps us keep bringing you amazing historical content. Thank you so much for your support, and see you in the next video.